Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. In this video I wanted to talk about a few things that after owning this car for a little over 3 years I don't particularly like, but are manageable and aren't deal breakers. So let's get into it. First thing is in the interior. Oh jeez. And that is the steering wheel. Now, I came from driving trucks, so it doesn't seem too bad for me, but when you go drive a Mustang or Camaro and then you hop in one of these, the steering wheel is just absolutely ridiculous. And I've noticed it recently. It's a pretty big, like, huge steering wheel, and there's a little bolstering, like here, and, very little, but, it's just gigantic steering wheel, and I'm not a fan of it. But it does the job, and I feel that in the newer ones they made it a little bit better. It's got a better flat bottom and all that, but it is what it is. Kind of big. So next thing is in the interior as well, and it's gonna be a little difficult to see, but they give you a truck brake. You can't really see, but anyway, unlike the Mustang Camaros, you normally have a e-brake, but yeah, you would think in as big of a car as this is in the room they give you, they could fit one in there. But nope, it's a truck style brake you have to hit with your foot. So, kind of a bummer, but you get used to it. Next thing would be the fact that in the '08 and older SRTs, whether it be a 300 Magnum, Charger, Challenger, even though the Challenger is first came out in '08 and it was only an automatic SRT, but they all did not have a limited slip differential, which is kind of a bummer because the '09 and ups come with the GetDrag one, which must be nice because it's pretty much one wheel peel. The only reason it doesn't feel like that is you're probably just spinning so much that both tires will spin, or also in these cars they just made it an electronic type thing. Basically, the ESP controls it to a degree when you have ESP on, but I mean it's still not really LSD, so kind of a bummer. So they are open diffs in the '08 and older. So I would try and get a '09 and above so you can get a limited slip. So then the next thing would be the seats, and so let's go back in the interior again and go on this side. The seats, now these are not the stock seats, I wish they were, but these are basically some race seats. The stock seats were comfy, but not really. Like, they were comfy to get into the car and like sit in, but after like 2 hours you're kind of hating life. They're not that comfy, and they were leather. Like the back seats are, yeah, it's this leather material, but they just were not comfy, and they're like no bolstering whatsoever, unless you're like a really big person. So, I mean, and I'm not really that big of a person. I'm kind of like middle ground, but yeah. So if you take a turn, you go flying into the other side. So, not something I particularly liked. So swapped over to those. They're a bit more bolstery and hold me in, and got some weight savings out of it. So definitely made me feel better. But not for the smaller people, more for the heavy set people. Then the next thing would be exhaust. I can't really show you because a lot of the exhaust parts got chopped up and thrown away. But on these particular ones, now the new ones are pretty good. They're pretty free flowing. So honestly, you could get away with the muffler delete and resin delete and be okay. But on these, they have a lot of parts that neck down to like 2.25 or 2 inch, especially in the tips and around the actual mufflers themselves. So in my opinion, it's not that great of an exhaust system. So if you get one of these, I would do a resonator and a muffler delete and replace the piping with at least 2.5, 2 3/4, even 3 inch, and it'll be a lot better. But yeah, on the newer ones, it's pretty good. On these ones, they're not that great. And it's kind of weird how they necked it down. It's '08 recession Chrysler, so take from it what you will. But whatever. If you can get rid of that stuff, put some new piping in there, you'll be pretty good and make it a lot better. Now the last thing will be the wheel size. Now these are not the OE wheels, but they're replicas. That's because my original ones got some dents in them, and they would wobble at like 78 miles an hour to like 85 or whatever. So I had to get new wheels, and but these are the same spec and everything, which is they're 9 inches wide. So the fact that in this time frame they came with 9 inches wide is kind of a bummer because they give you two 45s all around, and then the widest you can go safely is a 275, which is still kind of crap, which is what I have on here. But I mean, they give 275s to the Hellcats, and that's like laughable. Even on my car, that's not that great, and I'm not even making that kind of power. But yeah, it's kind of sad that basically have to either get a drag pack or just get a new set of wheels entirely if you want to run wider tires so that you can take advantage of the power, even in stock form that the car makes. So, kind of a bummer. And the newer ones, you can get the dynamics package and get wider wheels and whatnot, but obviously, cost a bit more. And on these ones, they didn't have that. So, it is what it is. So if you want to get an older one, try to get one for a good deal. Otherwise, try to go after a newer one. I would try to stay away from '08 and older, especially RTs. And unless you can get a really good deal, I'm talking like a really good deal because um, they're kind of outdated in a way. They kind of just said, "Here you go," and it's okay, but left a lot to be improved upon. So, yeah, that's just my opinion. New ones are pretty good, but if you can get an older one really cheap, then I would go that route too. But yeah, it's just some of my opinions on the car that they could have done better. But not to say that it's a deal breaker, because the pros definitely outweigh the cons. So, anyway, thanks for watching.